A 16-year-old girl finds herself back in court today regarding a fentanyl overdose death that investigators say she caused. An 18-year-old man died in December. Malia Sotelo is charged with first-degree reckless homicide in Brown County Court, but her attorneys say the case should be in juvenile court. However, narcotics officers say that Sotelo was a major drug dealer in Green Bay schools. Samantha Cavalli joins us live in the newsroom with more details on that case today. Samantha.
Yeah, Cammie, the state called a member of the narcotics task force to the stand to testify in this hearing today. The state asked if this was the largest drug dealer of fentanyl identified in the schools in Brown County, and he answered yes.
Yes, it was in the top 10 for largest fentanyl seizures of the Brown County Drug Task Force last year. I believe it was 8, and there is only one case higher than this that is not charged in federal court.
You mean in state court?
Only one that is charged in state court.
However, the defense for Malia Sotelo argues that this case should go to juvenile court. During Thursday's reverse waiver hearing, both sides argued where the case should land. Deputy District Attorney Wendy Lumkel said one of the biggest problems with keeping Sotelo in juvenile court is the duration of any potential sentence.
She's just not going to be here long. She gets the serious juvenile offender program. It's 5 years and she's out. She's 16. That's age 21. The only system that allows continuity of services, care, protection of the public, and allows her a long enough opportunity to change her ways is the adult system, and it's based on that.
The state then called Aaron Alexander Wolf to the stand. He's the supervisor in the Youth Justice Department for Brown County. He oversees the caseworker who is currently assisting Malia and the Sotelo family. The defense argued he shouldn't testify because of confidentiality. However, the judge allowed it to explain the juvenile system. Alexander Wolf was asked about a previous case involving Sotelo. There was a separate petition that had been filed in juvenile court for another waiver.
Are you asking what our ultimate recommendation was in that case?
Yeah, and whether it was appropriate for her to remain and receive services in juvenile court, or whether there was a lack of opportunity for services in juvenile that she should go to adult court. Yes.
Our recommendation was that she should be waived into the adult court on the juvenile petition.
Okay.
Now, the defense argues that Sotelo is still a juvenile and the case should move out of adult court. The judge can only grant reverse waiver if the juvenile proves they cannot receive adequate treatment in the criminal justice system. Judge Lee Joyce will announce his ruling on July 17th. Cammie?